Welcome back to the Raptors Wrap-Up podcast. I'm your host, Armond Lingam, and here we're talking about the press conference, the Raptors press conference, and what exactly went down and what does it all mean. Now, this is the first time that the Raptors had Kawhi Leonard in front of cameras, in front of mics, and being able to interrogate him using questions and seeing exactly what he's thinking and if this one-year deal is just a one-year deal with no extension or no plans in re-signing him. Now, you had Masai and Nick Nurse go first, and tons of questions were asked about Nick Nurse, what's the difference between his team and the old Dwayne Casey team, but he didn't want to dive into that loaded question. Instead, he was just talking about his offense, how they're going to revamp the offense. Just talks about how the offense is more free-flowing and it allows everybody to touch the ball and it's not as predictable as it was before. And you've seen in practices today where Greg Monroe was shooting threes. That means probably JV, who was expected to be shooting threes when Nick Nurse got hired. It looks like all the big men are practicing their three-point shot. Now, it's all about spacing. So you could expect it being kind of like a 5-out deal where all 5 guys are on the perimeter. And then you have Kawhi Leonard and Kyle Lowry probably doing a pick and roll at the top and just diving their way through the lane. Or even JV giving the pick just to spread the floor a little bit. Then you got Danny Green and Kawhi Leonard's press conference where Kawhi Leonard was asked a bunch of questions. Even a guy from the San Antonio Express came asking about the disgruntled star, if there was any regrets on how it went down and whether if he could change it, would he change it? And Kawhi Leonard said sternly, no regrets. He's just thinking about this team and this team's journey, and that's exactly the answer the Raptors were looking for. Now, we don't want Kawhi Leonard to be talking about San Antonio and whatever happened there. Instead, we want him focused on the Raptors this season and the goals that we have forward. Now, Danny Green was also asked questions about Kawhi Leonard's character, and Kawhi Leonard was also asked about Danny Green's character. Both guys responded, basketball junkies, they love the game, great defenders, wanting to shut down the opponents, and it works to be a good defensive tandem as it was in San Antonio. And Kawhi Leonard said that he was happy that Danny Green came along with the trade. Somebody that's familiar with and could work that chemistry out with the rest of the guys. Now, Kawhi Leonard was also asked questions about what do the Raptors expect from Kawhi Leonard, and this is where all the memes and all social media went crazy when Kawhi Leonard did that crazy laugh, or that cringing laugh as some people call it. I don't mind the laugh, to be honest. It's just who he is. So I've seen it in San Antonio before, and I just got used to it. But with social media now, they blew it up and they put like 1 billion memes on him. Hopefully this doesn't scare him away from re-signing. But man, it's funny, but man, hopefully this doesn't scare the guy. Now, we're talking about Kyle Lowry after. Kyle Lowry came in and was not happy in his interview. He was asked a million questions about why he did not step forward and speak about the DeRozan Kawhi trade over the summer, and he said summer is for him. He doesn't like to talk about work during the summer, and now it's business, and he wanted to approach and tell everybody what he felt about it, but he just said business is business. There's no hard feelings. There's no change in relationship between Masai and the organization, even though there's rumors now that you hear about how Kyle Lowry was avoiding phone calls, texts over the summer. When Nick Nurse got the job initially, there was a brief talk about congratulating him, but nothing other than that. Nothing about how the offense is going to change. No deeper conversation about the whole trade scenario. So you can still tell that he's bitter and not the happiest person in the room. Then when asked about if Lowry and DeRozan still keep in touch, he's like, yeah, me and my boy DeRozan, we still keep in touch. I was talking to him last night. So you see the bond is still there. And he said, no, it doesn't matter what happens on the court. We're still brothers. So you can see that deep bond is still there. But hate to see the bromance get breaking up. But it was a trade that that Masai had to make. Kawhi Leonard is a top 5 player. You got to go get a superstar when you have the chance. They don't come around that often. There's only a handful of them. So you got to live with what you get. Now, the team does look good on paper, but the media kept asking questions about Kawhi Leonard. Are you going to re-sign? It's a 1-year deal. Toronto, do you really want to sign with this team? Players don't really like to sign here. This and that, and just kept making Toronto seem like a terrible place to be, even though we are a great city. And that's where Masai Ujiri jumped in and interjected right before Danny Green could finish his answer. He said that old narrative of Toronto being a bad city, that's all old talk. Take that garbage out of there. Pretty much just smacked the media right in the face, told them, stop with that nonsense, stop with all those questions. We're talking about the Toronto Raptors. We're a team that's aiming for a championship. Believe in ourselves. Believe in yourself. You know why? Because this city is great. This is one of the rare opportunities for the Raptors actually have odds to win the championship. We have a great team. We were first in the East. This is the best team ever assembled by the Raptors organization in pretty much their prime, because we had Hakeem back in the day past his prime. We had Marcus Camby when he was a rookie. We had great players every now and then, but just not in the right moments when they were actually great. Now you got Kawhi Leonard in his prime. Kawhi Lowry is still considered a top 25 player. And then you got a lot of good pieces around you. JV could be an all-star this year from what it looks like. So this team has a lot of promise. Now, there are a lot of things that the Raptors have going for them. Norman Powell from LA as well, and he bonded with Kawhi Leonard over the summer. That helps. Pascal Siakam's improved. There's a lot of things going on. But the press conference left me kind of at an unease, I would say. With Kyle Lowry disgruntled, giving pretty much just monotone answers about business is business, work is work. I would ride or die for my teammates no matter what, which was nice to hear, but it seemed kind of just for the media, just to them to absorb, but I don't know if he really meant it. Now, the thing is, Kawhi Leonard looked like he was good with the media, and Danny Green was excellent as well. But the thing is, the chemistry is what I'm worried about. And with all this going on with Lowry being disgruntled and just doesn't want to feel like being there, trading him is not an option. He is the heart and soul of the team. But the Jimmy Butler trade talks is pretty much thrown to dust, because there's no point in bringing Jimmy Butler into a organization which is not really clicking at the moment. You're just going to bring Jimmy Butler and mix that in with what's going on with Kyle Lowry and Kawhi Leonard right there. You're asking for a team implosion right there. And that's a lot to give up, especially for Jimmy Butler, another 1-year rental. No thanks, Minnesota. And plus, they're asking for a lot. OG or Siakam is not going to go in that trade. And a first rounder. They're asking for way too much. So, other than that, the press conference went okay. A little better than I expected, but hopefully the Raptors click when they're in Vancouver now, with their preseason games coming up against Portland this Saturday. Go Raptors, go. Let's see what they do. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe to the Raptors Wrap Up. And Kawhi Leonard's going to be on the court very soon, guys. Check it out. Peace.